Imagine a metropolis of gold and marble dominating the horizon. In a fraction of a day, the ocean swallowed it whole, leaving only silent water. This poses one of the oldest mysteries on record: how an empire possessing wealth and engineering unmatched in its time could vanish overnight without leaving a trace. The earliest record of this society originates here, in the Mediterranean. 24 centuries ago, classical Greece served as the intellectual hub of the ancient world. Among its scholars was the philosopher Plato. He is the single historical author responsible for documenting the existence of Atlantis. Through his dialogues, he detailed a naval power occupying an island in the Atlantic. He described a state commanding armies and possessing maritime engineering that dwarfed neighboring civilizations. Mythology is often vague, but his accounts were filled with precise measurements and exact geographic coordinates. This rigid detail is why the story transitioned from a fable into an enduring archaeological pursuit. The records describe a highly specific urban blueprint, alternating concentric rings of sea and land radiating from a central island. Massive canals cut through these landmasses, allowing vessels to pass, while elaborate bridges connected the zones for heavy land transit. Ships from across the known world arrived continuously. The ports functioned as the primary node for global trade, while the inner rings housed centers for scientific inquiry and urban development. At the very center stood the royal palace and the main temple. The walls were heavily plated with silver, gold, and a rare metal called orichalcum, all surrounded by sprawling, cultivated botanical gardens. They had reshaped an entire island into a precision-engineered machine. They bent geography to their will, and this total mastery over their environment bred an extreme, ultimately fatal sense of invulnerability. Eventually, domestic stability evolved into outward aggression. They constructed massive fleets, turning their highly efficient trade routes into pathways for military conquest. Because their ship designs and navigation tools were generations ahead of their neighbors, they could project military force across vast distances, easily intimidating weaker coastal settlements. The Greeks had a specific word for what followed: hubris. The rulers, accustomed to absolute authority and endless resources, developed a deep, unchecked arrogance. Instead of maintaining their civic ideals, the ruling class became entirely focused on amassing wealth and consolidating power at the expense of their own citizens. The society that once prioritized engineering and philosophy now operated purely on greed, launching unprovoked wars to expand their territorial footprint. They viewed themselves as untouchable. But their fixation on foreign domination left them completely blind to the fact that their true vulnerability lay deep within the earth beneath their feet. Without warning, the ground fractured. Deep seismic forces violently split the foundation of the island, tearing apart the carefully engineered rings. A chain reaction of colossal earthquakes followed. The heavy marble temples, built to withstand armies, collapsed under their immense weight in seconds. The displacement of the seafloor triggered the final blow. Towering walls of water eclipsed the city skyline, sweeping away the remains of the harbor and the shattered palaces. Plato's account stresses the terrifying speed of the event. There was no prolonged siege. The entire society sank beneath the waves in a single day and night. The brutal reality of geology requires no armies. In hours, planetary forces erased the most advanced civilization on Earth, proving that human engineering is ultimately fragile. Today, where an empire once stood, there is only a quiet stretch of rocky ocean floor. Yet the search continues. Oceanographers and archaeologists use modern submersibles to scan the Atlantic and Mediterranean depths for any surviving physical evidence. Advanced sonar systems map the topography of the seafloor, specifically looking for the massive, unnatural concentric circles that would define the city's foundations. The academic community remains sharply divided. Many marine geologists search for a literal sunken landmass, while a large body of historians argue that Plato fabricated the island entirely as a political allegory. Whether the ruins rest crushed at the bottom of the sea, or the city only ever existed as a philosophical warning, the story persists. It serves as humanity's eternal mirror, demonstrating that even the most powerful societies are fragile when they succumb to arrogance.